Hello, hello. It's Dawn with part 3 of my Why Thailand video series. And today we're going to talk about the country itself and the different areas of the country. I'm just going to give you a little introduction. So for those of you who are joining me in Thailand, or anyone really who's planning a trip to Thailand, this is going to be particularly interesting and helpful. Especially, well, I would say not planning a trip, but if you are joining me in Thailand in February 2025, you're going to find this helpful. And if you're thinking about Thailand, but you haven't made your plans yet for any reason whatsoever, you're going to find this interesting because I'm going to share a map of the country and just share a little bit about the different locations. Not every place. This isn't a thorough, comprehensive Lonely Planet guide or anything like that. Just touch on some of the interesting things. So I'm going to share screen in a moment, but I did want to let you know that this screen behind me, let me get out of the way. This is the location of the retreat center. It's actually a resort. It's a little luxury private resort in Thailand where I will be hosting my Ascension Convergence retreat, medicine retreat for women in February. So I wanted to put that in the background, give you something else interesting to look at besides my Indian screen, wood screen. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share screen. And you're going to get to have a little look-see at the country for those of you who are not familiar with it. Of course, if you are familiar with it, this isn't going to be that interesting. Okay, so sometimes the Thais say that the country is a bit like an elephant. So if you see here, this gray line, that's the border of the country. And it goes around all the way around like this into the Gulf of Thailand. And then if we scroll, this is the bottom. So they say that Thailand is like an elephant's head. So you've got the big top of the head up here, the back of the head over here, and then the trunk. So from east to west, it's not that wide. It's not that big of a country. I think it's approximately the size of France. But from north to south, it's quite far. I think it's from like 3 to 23 degrees north of the equator to 20 degrees. Don't quote me on that, but that's approximate. So you can see here that Bangkok is centrally located north to south and in this narrow point east to west as well. It's not really the central plains though. So let's break down the bits here. When you look up pictures of Thailand, you'll often see these beautiful rock formations jutting out of the sea with green and lush and that dramatic look that you'll also see sometimes with pictures of Guilin, China. And these are limestone rock formations that are all over the country, the kingdom, but are particularly stunning in this area down here, the Phang Bay, among other places, but particularly down in here. So this little tail here is Phuket. It's actually an island. And this is the Phang Bay. And then you can see to the west, there's the Andaman Sea. And you get to the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which are part of India. And then to the east is the Gulf of Thailand. And then over here, you've got Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos up here, landlocked country, and then Thailand. Okay, so just for those of you, just to cut to the chase quickly, for those of you who are joining me or thinking of joining me, where is our retreat going to be? It's going to be over here in Koh Chang. No. Sorry. It's like over here. You can't even see it in Koh Chang. So it's in the Gulf of Thailand. Koh means island in Thai. So it's up here and not that far from Bangkok. And then, so now let's talk about the places. So the south, hot, tropical, lots of beaches, beautiful places. You got your Gulf of Thailand, where the water is more calm, the oceans are more calm. You got the Phang Bay, one of the most stunning and most touristed places. You got the southern area where there's still some beautiful beaches and tourism, and up here as well, beautiful beaches. But you get the bigger seas here because you're out in the ocean, but beautiful nonetheless. The Deep South, there's been conflicts there for quite some time. There's some 3 provinces that want to withdraw from Thailand at times. I don't know the status of that right now, but it's not been good for many years. But once you come up in here, all the way up in here, and all the way through here, you've got stunning beaches, islands, resorts galore, many, many beautiful experiences to be had in different areas there. Um, Around here, down in Pattaya, and then some of the little beach areas. Well, it's not even little, big over here. These are very popular among expats. It's not a place I like to go. But then you get further south here, and again, you get beautiful beaches, calm seas before you hit the coast of Cambodia. So then you come up into here, and you got your the great river, the great rivers of Thailand that make it the central area very lush for rice cultivation. And then you got your this area up here, which is called the Isan area. They're high plains. And there's a lot of farming there too, but the weather can be very dramatically dry or lots of rain. In fact, as I record this now, there's actually quite a lot of rain in the north, and that's what I want to talk about next is the north. And again, you can see these riverways that come through here, and these blue lines here are showing just the biggest rivers. There's quite a few bodies of water and mountains, particularly up in the north. So up here somewhere is Chiang Mai, and up here is Chiang Rai. And this is where I spend a lot of time, most of my time nowadays is in Chiang Mai. I lived in Phuket years ago. I've lived in Bangkok. I've lived in Krabi, which is over here in the Phang Bay, up here. And I've spent time in a lot of places. So you got your hot tropical down here, lots of beaches, lots of resorts. You got your big urban, everything all the time city. When I lived in Bangkok many years ago, gosh, it's like 20 years ago now, it was still, some people might argue that Thailand was still a developing country, and there were definitely some less developed areas of Bangkok, and that may be true still. But now it really is mostly like high-rise skyscraper, ultra modern. You can find anything in Bangkok, and particularly very expensive shopping if you're looking for that. But you can get, beautiful restaurants and cultural experiences, and the old city and the old temples are magnificent. The old royal temples. So Bangkok has a lot to offer if you like the city. If you're allergic to cities, it's intense. It's kind of intense. I haven't been there in years. I'm excited to return this year to go to some theater events and, of course, to meet my attendees when we get together to go journey together down to the island for our retreat. Isan, as I said, there's a lot of farming there. It's considered a little bit more poor. The language dialect is a little more like the Lao language. In fact, the people are very similar. You can see, I mean, this border here is the Great Mekong River. It lines up with the Great Mekong River, but the cultures are very much similar. There's some word differences. And it's really, if you want to go to like real Thailand that's not really been as touristy developed, you can definitely go up to Isan and have some amazing experiences in there of just being immersed in the culture. Now, the north, this is part of the ancient Lana kingdom, still very Thai, but a slower pace overall. And while Chiang Mai is considered the second city, it's also called the Rose of the North. There's something very beautiful about the city overall, especially when you get close to the mountain, but it's harder to do that. I mean, it's a big city, but there are pockets where you can really feel a little bit outside of all the hustle and bustle. And beautiful cafes. The coffee scene there is incredible. If you like to ride, either bicycles or motorcycles or scooters, there's great rides, great paved roads there, amazing 1 day, 2 day, 3 day journeys that you can do all through the north. Stunning mountainscapes, beautiful little villages, tribal peoples that live, up here near the border of Burma, Myanmar. And up here is the famous Golden Triangle that used to be the big opium place for trade. There's a magnificent museum there, probably the best museum I've ever been to in my life, called the Opium Museum, right up there at the Golden Triangle, where Myanmar, Laos, and Thailand meet. Yeah, so I love the North, obviously. You could probably tell by the way I'm talking about it. If you are a beach person, you're going to want to go south. If you are more into culture, temples, art, nature, the North or Bangkok, obviously not nature for Bangkok, right? But culture, cuisine, luxury experiences, incredible temples, then Bangkok is the place for you. And if you want to go off the beaten path, there are some, I came across a company, and I don't have it here, but the name of it, but that offers tours in Isan. This is not going to be, if you're first time visitor to Thailand, you're probably not going to want to go there. But I don't know, maybe if you are really someone who's an adventurer who wants to feel the real culture, you may want to explore some of the cities and outlying towns of the Isan area. But again, for most people, it's going to be Bangkok, somewhere in the north, and one of the islands in the south. And so you can have quite a diverse experience in your time there. The people are different a little bit in different parts of the country, but you may not be able to recognize that as a tourist. Typically, they speak quicker in the south and slower, more graciously in the north. The dialect's a little bit different in the east, and Bangkok has that sort of, formal, not formal, but the language it tends to be more clear and more precise to the original when you're listening. What else do I want to say here about these places? Boy, if there's anything else, I'm sure I'll make a part 4 or something. But hopefully this gives you kind of lay of the land, an idea about it. Oh, I know one other thing. What kind of time does it take to get from north to south? Fly. You want to fly. You can drive. I was just speaking with my Thai language teacher this morning, and she says it takes 10 hours to drive from Bangkok to Chiang Mai. That's after about 2 hours of getting out of the traffic of Bangkok. So just think about that. 12-hour drive to drive from the middle, north to south of the country to the north. So when I travel around, I fly. Back in the day, I used to take trains. There's wonderful trains. That's the other thing. Transport by trains is very nice in Thailand. So you can take the train from the north to Bangkok, Bangkok to Vientiane over here, which is the capital of Laos, and it's right, on the border. You can take a train from Bangkok down to Surat Thani, which is over here. I think no, you can take it all the way down to Hat Yai, actually. So trains are an option, planes are an option, driving is an option if you're into that kind of thing. And of course, there are those who ride. I've ridden all over the north. I've taken loop trips, from Chiang Mai to Mae Hong Son on the Burmese border, to Nan on the Lao border, to Chiang Rai up in the Golden Triangle, and a bunch of other places in between. Beautiful roads, beautiful riding. I would not ride to the south because I'd have to go through Bangkok. One final thing I'm going to share with you for those of you who are old enough to remember stories of World War II and the bridge over the River Kwai. That is located over here. So it's west of Bangkok, and maybe, I can't remember anymore. There's a place called Kanchanaburi, and that's where the famous bridge over the River Kwai is, and you can take like a touristy train there, and you can go on the River Kwai and stay on floating houseboats. There's many places in Thailand where you can stay on floating houseboats as a tourist. So if you were thinking about Thailand and maybe remembering that, that's over here east of Bangkok, near the border of Burma, because they were trying to use manual labor to cut through these mountain range here to create their train line. This is the Japanese, to create their train line They wanted to basically go all the way from India down through, I don't know where, the south of Malaysia, I suppose. That was their colonizer idea for that brief amount of time that they were in the region during World War II. So tons more I could say. Obviously, you can start to hear and see that I'll can go off on tangents, but I'm gonna leave it at that so that this doesn't become an excessively lengthy video. So let me stop share for a moment. And again, if you are connected with me in some way where you're kind of thinking about, gee, maybe I should take one of those, um, do a retreat with Dawn. The Ascension Convergence Women's Medicine Retreat is a retreat for planetary personal healing and empowerment. Small group, 10 women. We have a few spots left. So most of them got snatched up very quickly. You can have the option of a private bungalow like that or a family bungalow. We receive women into these retreats by application. And so I'll be, looking to interview anyone who applies. And it's not so much about your experience as it is where your heart is at and where your capacity to hold space for others and to show up authentically in sacred service to our planet's organic ascension and to stepping into the close support of a sister circle, to receive and be held and to lift as you rise. So if that sounds of interest to you, please have a look at the link. You can just click the link in the box below. If you're watching this on YouTube or if you're watching it somewhere else, somewhere there will be the link so you could check out the information page. I would love to receive your application if this feels aligned. And either way, I hope this has been helpful for you. So if you found it valuable, you can give it a thumbs up. And if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to the channel. Sending you lots of love and bright blessings for this extraordinary time on planet Earth. May you be well.